Hi everyone, got a new project on the go. So I'm going to fit up a set of side steps onto my territory today, and I'll take you through how to do it. Okay, there's a couple of things you're going to need to do this project. So what you're going to need, the most important thing, is one of these rivnuts, nut set tools. That's sort of a light duty one, that's a heavy duty one. Now there's probably like 75% of the inserts that you need to put in that you can get to with the heavy duty one, and there's 25% of them that you can't, and you need sort of a smaller one. I'm lucky I've got two of them, so you could get away with just using this, no problem at all. But if you've got if you've only got a heavy duty one, you're going to be restricted in about, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 areas where you just can't get the motion with the double wide handles, where you need something that's a little more compact. So if you haven't got one, try and borrow one. You're probably going to need a hammer and a center punch, because there's one, well actually every hole that you need to mark out, you need to center punch. You're going to need some drills. Now these are M8s. You need an 11mm drill bit to drill your holes out, but obviously you're going to need to step up the holes until you reach 11mm. You're going to need an array of 13mm sockets, some extensions, maybe a tube socket if you've got one, and a flexi joint. They will definitely help you get everything in place. There's one at the very back here, which is this top one here. Extremely hard to get a ratchet in there to do up the bolt, but once you get it going, it's not too bad. One thing you want to be aware of, and I didn't realise this when I put the first side on, because I had everything in this bag and I just reached in and pulled them out as I needed them, but you've actually got these large square spaces and you've got the smaller square spaces, and where you want to use the small ones is in this hole here. So on the underside, you have to go in through this cutout in the tube, and you need that smaller one to get in there. You can manipulate the bigger one to go in, you can get it in there, but these are made for the smaller ones, I believe. So yeah, so just set out your bolts prior to starting. I'm a bolt short here, and I'm a couple of spaces short, but I'll find something to go in there and bolt it up. So yeah, we'll make a start. Okay, we've got one bolt here in the chassis. This bolt wasn't in there. This is actually part of what I'm missing, I just realized. This one's already tapped, so yeah, you can use this, but you're gonna find that this bolt, in amongst all your bolts that hold this in place, is slightly larger. I think this is a 10mm, where the others are 8mm. So yeah, if you've got some larger bolts, 2 larger bolts in your bag of bolts, it'll be for this position here on the rail. So this is right under the driver's door. The next thing you want to do is you want to get a trolley jack and just push it up level with the sill of the car, and then sit the running board on it, the side step. Then the first bolt you want to put in is the bolt that actually is, the provision's already there in the chassis to put a bolt in, because that will then hold the step straight for you to mark all the other holes. Okay, once you've got that that 10mm bolt in, as you can see, the front will stay up. You can move your jack along just to support the back until you mark all your holes. Okay, these running boards have a bit of give that actually slides inside that track there. So if you're coming up to a cross member or something and it looks like things are going to be a little tight, or you're going across a seam, you can actually just move these across. There's no right or wrong place to drill the holes in the chassis for the rivnuts. So just as long as, you know, the this bracket here is sitting flush against the chassis when you mark everything, and that this one's hard up against the other rail, you should be right. With mine, I've noticed that I have to move this a little bit that way. Why, I don't know, but I haven't had any troubles marking the rest of them underneath. This one just needed it a little bit, just, you know, 20mm. So yeah, don't freak out too much if your holes aren't perfect, because there's lots of adjustment in these brackets. Okay, as you can see there, I've marked all the holes and I've center punched the holes. I've got another set just here and on the chassis as well. So yeah, I'm starting out with a 3.5mm hole just to give me a pilot hole, and then I'll step that up over the course of 3 or 4 drill bits until I reach 11mm. Okay, another thing that you might need to be aware of is that obviously as you step up the diameter of the drill bit becomes longer, so you may have to jack your car up to get the clearance you need to get your drill bit in and out. Okay, with these nutsert tools, when you actually screw the nutsert onto the tool, you want to make sure that the handles are wide open, and then as you make each pump of this, you can actually tighten this up a little bit to take the slack out, so you're actually winding the thread of the arbor further into the riv nut, which then gives you more crimp. The other thing too is you may even need to go up a little bit more with your jack, because you've got to allow enough room here for your handles, because as you squeeze them in they get longer. Okay, you're going to need this type of riv nut tool to get in at the front here, because you can't get in with the heavy duty one because of this brace. You could take this brace off if you wanted to, but yeah, you'll need a smaller one for here, and the same at the back as well, near the lower control arm. Okay, that's a look at what we've got there. So we got 2 there, and we've got the 1 there. Okay, if you're using a 1/2 inch drive ratchet and socket like I am, one thing you're going to find is that the standard socket, just here, the standard size socket, this part's a little too thick to get through the bracket for the bolts that have the small plate on them. So what you're going to need is you will need a long deep socket, but when you go to use it, what happens is the bolt slides inside here and you can't get it to you can't get enough thread to go into the nutsert. So what I've done is I've just rolled up some cardboard and stuffed it into the long socket, just so that the head gets a grip, and this part will go inside the bracket, and that should give me what I need. Okay, side steps are on. Got a little bit of painting to do. I've got to go get some paint, a little scuff here, and I'll redo the end caps as well. You can buy the end caps new, they're on eBay. I think they're about $65 for a set to do both sides for 4 pieces or 2 sets. And that's the other side. It's not a difficult job, it's just a little bit monotonous because especially when you're drilling the holes, having to step up, you know, 3, 4, 5 sizes to get that 11mm hole. But once the holes are drilled, everything's pretty straightforward. As I said, you can't use one of those heavy duty nutsert tools on the very front nutsert or the very back one near the trailing arm. You need the I guess it's a light duty one, or yeah, so you'll need one of them, no doubt, to get in there. But yeah, it's pretty easy, pretty simple job. So I think there's, what is it, 12 bolts, 9 bolts. There's 9 bolts that hold the whole lot together. One thing you want to remember to do is that just under the step here, where your brackets bolt to your running board or your side step, you've got a bolt in each bracket. You want to tighten them up too, otherwise the side step will slide back and forward like that.